Hey everybody, Jason Laux here, the founder of secretlender.com, and I've been putting people in business in the real estate business for over 14 years, helping people get started and level up their business to the next level, no matter what level they're at now, okay? And a lot of people really feel stuck, and they really feel kind of locked out, like maybe there's some kind of good old boys network, or there's, what's the old saying? It's not what you know, it's who you know, and a lot of people really feel that pinch, especially in the beginning phases of their business before they reach the level they're at and just put it all on autopilot. In that building phase of their business, they really feel shut out and they really feel stuck. And usually it's for a couple of reasons. One reason is they don't have access to the proof of funds and the funds they need to do their deals. If they're using their own capital, they really can only do one deal at a time, or maybe a handful of deals if you're lucky to have that much capital at your fingertips. But you can't really grow your business. You got to sell a deal before you can buy a deal, and therefore you're limited in how much you can do. And then the other thing that happens is if you don't have access to the cash, you just feel completely locked out, because most of the best deals nowadays, you're going to need cash to close and proof of funds to even make an offer in the first place. So I really understand it. And a lot of people really feel stuck, or they worry that they're not going to be able to take their business to the level they want it to go to, or they're not going to be able to get started in the first place. Well, let me tell you something really awesome about the current market that we live in. And what I'm about to tell you is the secret sauce, if you will, for how we can get people in business, take them to the next level, and very quickly scale their business to a very high level. 6- and 7-figure businesses are not unusual in my world. Okay, and I'm not talking about realtor numbers. I'm not talking about value of deals sold. I'm talking about cash flow, and equity. And that's a very common thing, actually. And of course, obviously, I'm not telling you you're going to make 6 or 7 figures in your business. I don't know you. I don't know your business. But let me tell you the formula for doing it. Okay, so right now, out there in the real estate world, your so-called competition kind of breaks down into sort of two big groups. One group is newbies. They just got in the business like yesterday, or they just watched one of those shows on Home and Garden television where they rehab an entire house in 22 minutes, right? Plus commercials, but fast forward the commercials, it takes 22 minutes for them to rehab and sell this whole house. And they go out there and they overpay. They overpay for repairs. They overpay for everything. And of course, generally speaking, they get hosed, right? I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but if you go forth without an education, you're going to get educated by the industry. The other group of people who come to me they're already doing deals, but they're so limited by the way that they do them. And the limitations are usually, like I said, they don't have enough capital to do multiple deals. And number two, each deal takes so long that they can only get 1 or 2 or 3 properties bought, fixed, and sold within a 12-month time frame, a year, right? So what ends up happening a lot of times is they need a way to, number one, systemize the business so that they can create it in a repeatable process that they can do over and over again, and at the same time. In other words, they have to be able to do 2 or 3 or 4 deals side by side at the same time. Can't just do one and then the next one and then the next one. So they got to get their resources in order, but they also got to get their brain in order. And let me tell you one thing that's awesome about the world that we live in right now. So over the last many years, the federal government has figured out that real estate is where it's at. They've figured out that by making good investments, not only do they get those junk houses off the books, right? They get somebody in there living there, raising property values, paying the taxes and all that other good stuff. The property taxes that go to, build schools and roads and fire departments and all that stuff we really need for society. But it also creates the debt instrument, that mortgage itself, which is a great investment on Wall Street. So when you look at what's doing well in the stock market, right, those real estate-backed equities, stocks, are the ones that are doing well. Well, the government's figured this out, and they've got it coming and going, so to speak, right? They figured out that if they make those mortgages, or if they back those mortgages and other lenders make them, they insure those lenders through those government-backed loans, that they get more loans out there, which is a good investment, and the economy does well, but they also fix more houses, which raises property values, which raises property taxes, and means that the federal government needs to send less to the municipalities because the municipalities are getting the taxes themselves, okay? The government's got it figured out, all right? That real estate is a great investment for them, so they're backing these government-backed loans. Well, one of the types of government-backed loans that's just gone through the roof over the last several years, I don't know, but very recently, within the last 3 or 4 years, the government is backing more loans than it's not. So I don't want to tell you a stat and that stat changes, but most loans nowadays are government-backed loans, okay? But it has been as high as almost 80, 90%. I think it went down to about 70%. I don't know where it's at now, but it's probably right in there somewhere, okay? And so the government is backing a lot of loans. Well, they're also writing what are called purchase and rehab loans. So FHA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, USDA, even the VA will do these purchase and rehab loans. For example, FHA has a loan program where they will loan our buyers, not us. They don't loan to investors. Okay, so maybe you could do one this way, it's FHA, so first-time home buyer, but maybe you don't want to once you hear how the process works, right? These buyers are with the same exact loan qualifications that they could go buy a pretty house in a pretty neighborhood. In other words, with FHA, it's usually like 3% down, and you got to have good credit and prove you can make the payments, okay? Well, with that same qualifications, not only can they buy a house, but if it needs work, FHA will loan them all the money they need to buy it, plus all the money they need to do the repairs. Let that thing sink in for a second. In fact, up to $35,000, which is a pretty significant rehab, they don't even have to ask. It's like a check mark on the application. If it goes over $35,000, then they have to, just fill out a form and say, okay, wait, I need a little more than that. FHA still does it, as long as there's a reason why, okay? So if you take your house and without fixing it first, you sell it directly to an owner-occupant as is, still needs repairs. That owner-occupant is going to get from FHA, Fannie Mae, Freddie, all those loan companies, whichever one they're working with, or loan guaranteeing companies, I guess. They're going to get all the money they need to buy and all the money to fix it. And these houses sell like hotcakes. They sell like that because the sales pitch starts with $35,000 cash back at closing, or whatever the repairs are going to be, right? Maybe if they might be less than that, hopefully. But whatever it is, $35,000 cash back at closing. And then when the people call, your voicemail sales assistant, yourself, if you're doing your first few deals, you're going to tell them, well, listen, the house needs updating and needs repairs, but pick your own appliances, pick your own carpets, pick your own paint colors, pick whatever you want. We'll pay for it. All the repairs necessary, we'll pay for them. And of course, we're paying for them by giving them a credit back at closing. Okay. What this does is it takes the selling process and makes it fast. Okay. There's usually a line out the door and down the block. And I'm not joking about that, and I'm not exaggerating, because so many people want $35,000 cash back at closing, and they want to pick their own appliances, their own carpet, and everything else. Well, that means a lot more people come and see our houses. They sell very, very quickly, and we don't have to fix them first. What this means is we can go from junk house to sold for full retail price minus the cost of repairs house very, very quickly, where your competition, those guys driving around town in old beat up pickup trucks with paint cans in the back and, spackle on the side and everything, right? Your competition is buying one house. They're sinking their life savings into it. They're sinking or they're borrowing high interest, hard money or whatever. They're putting a bunch of money into the deal, suffering all the cash flow. Some of them are doing the work themselves, which just kills you on time. Like, I like fixing things. I don't fix them professionally because I can't make enough money doing it, okay? Just the time involved costs too much and keeps your paychecks way far apart. It's not good for business, okay? Anyway, neither here nor there. You can take a house, do the full deal in just 2 or 3 months, right? And that's 2 or 3 months from bought it to sold it. Nothing in the middle, okay? Then if you're using secret lenders like I recommend, as soon as you pay that secret lender back, what are they going to say? They're going to say, hey, wait a minute, I'm not earning any interest now. Can you get it out and working again? Borrow my money again. Take it and go earn me some interest. You go, okay. Well, if you have one lender who can fund one deal and you can turn that deal every 2 or 3 months, you can do 4, 5, or 6 deals a year, one lender. If that one lender can do 2 deals, that's 2. You know what I mean? That's 8, 10, 12 deals a year. If you've got 2 lenders that can each do 2, you see how that process goes? And since you're not fixing them, you don't have to run all those rehab crews. You don't have to be the foreman. You don't have to get sharked by contractors. You don't have to learn all of that stuff because you're not fixing them. So not only can you do your deals very quickly, but using that combination of what we call capital compounding. In other words, for every lender that you get, it makes every lender more valuable because you can turn the deals faster. And since you can turn the deals faster, it becomes that much easier to get lenders. And so you can until you're way up here, your level goes up. So listen, trust me, I know it sounds different than the rentals and rehab stuff that you've probably been programmed with by poor people who aren't in the business. But I'm telling you right now, if you combine the secret lenders, OPM, other people's money, and you with those purchase and rehab loan programs for your buyers so that you don't have to fix them first. It leads to what we call capital compounding. The same amount of capital turned more times multiplies your profits. Okay, so if this is the kind of stuff you like, if this is right up in your wheelhouse, this is the kind of thing you need to hear, or if you know somebody else who needs to hear this, maybe they're going through the meat grinder right now of mortgage brokers and real estate agents and rentals and rehabs and all that other stuff, and they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, which is to actually treat this like a real business, right? But if this is the kind of stuff you like, please like it, please share it. If you know anybody who needs to hear this, feel free to share it with them. And I hope you enjoyed this as much as I like making it for you, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.